Fortnite gave me the opportunity to compete in video games the way my younger self always dreamed of but didn't think I'd ever get the chance to. If you go to my YouTube channel you can find Halo 3 videos that I posted a whole 11 years ago now. Back then I would watch Halo MLG tournaments and ESPN Top 10 highlight clips and try to think of any way I could get a chance to compete like that. I didn't even know how a person would even go about trying to get onto a pro team to compete in events like these. Without any plans of seriously competing for anything besides fun, I would however continue to grind many iterations of Halo, Call of Duty, and RuneScape over my high school years, with the competition being mostly against the friends I played with. Fast forward to graduating high school. Now that I was going into college and wanted to be open to new experiences, I would drastically tune down the amount of time I spent dedicated to gaming. Besides a good run playing Destiny for a handful of months and the occasional RuneScape spree, I barely even touched a video game the whole time I was in college. Occasionally, I would go over to a friend's apartment where they would be playing the new Call of Duty, and I remember not only not wanting to play it, but even a step further, I almost could look down on them for still spending their time playing a video game. It seemed like something I had matured past and wanted to avoid. During senior year of college, I would start getting more and more into the first significant moneymaker in my life, poker. During this time I would try my hand at and would see what it would be like to grind online poker as a job. I made very good money doing it for someone who was essentially just starting out. After a year of grinding online poker during senior year of college, was able to put away $50K in profit into the bank, but I was getting very tired of the game. Here enters Fortnite. One day I started seeing Snapchats of people posting victory royales from some video game that I'd been seeing more and more of on the internet. A game called Fortnite. After seeing more and more of these Snapchat posts, I would one day walk out of my room in my college apartment and to the kitchen next to the living room where my roommates would be sitting and playing their game of choice. Recently it had been Fortnite that they were choosing to play. They would ask me why I don't play. They think I would be good. I told them if I played it I would probably get addicted to it, and would play Fortnite when I should really be grinding poker and making money. Anyways, I caved and gave the game a shot. I turned on the dusty old Xbox with my broken controller with a band-aid holding in the batteries since it lacked a back cover, and downloaded Fortnite. I was trash at the game. I had not seriously played any shooters for years and the game had been out for 2 seasons. I remember honestly being pretty bored and frustrated while playing it. Over time I would improve at the game and would find motivation in the fact that my friends around me would come over for Fortnite sessions, which made me want to get better. I would grind pubs and reconnect with many old girlfriends I had talked to in quite a while for the next many seasons. When World Cup was announced, and Epic Games threw a shit ton of money into their competitive scene, I used the money I made from poker and invested into a PC. I didn't really have many expectations for placing well in these events, but I figured I could probably at least make my money back and see what happens. I ended up placing around top 150 in solos about 3 times and placing around top 300 in duos a couple times as well. Which is really pretty good considering I basically played duos with an Earl in the first week. These placements meant I made about 4K from Fortnite, which was pretty cool. I used those placements in World Cup to find better teammates for trios. I would meet Aidenus and Lijax. We would unfortunately part with Lijax shortly before Trio FNCS due to teammate drama, however, which caused us to have to look for teammates on short notice and would lead us to do pretty poorly in the first Trio FNCS. Next up was Squad FNCS. After Trio FNCS, Aidenus and I would regroup with our previous teammate Lijax and would pick up trunks from our Discord that we frequently hung out in. Our squad had struggled during the weeks, but after many arguments and nearly splitting up, We managed to gain enough points to qualify us for heats, which would later lead to one of my proudest moments in my Fortnite career, making a PC Grand Finals with what was essentially a team composed entirely of players from our own Discord friend group, while being spectated by players such as Bew and Zate, a group of friends that had been fighting an uphill battle to even make it to that point. Had just managed to be one of the fastest qualifying teams by catching an 18-kill dub from mid-ground in only their 4th game, essentially qualifying us for Grands with 2 games to spare. Hype like that is rare, you may not ever experience it again. Rewatching that moment can still bring a tear to my eye. Unfortunately, we were not able to keep up the performance in Grands. We had to give up our landing spot to Zate's squad and only had a couple hours to prep a new one. GGS only. Somewhere after that it was now time to prep for duos. Fortnite announced Winter Royale was money for console and money for PC. At the time I had been duoing with Aidness, but we had not yet had the opportunity to play in any tournaments as of yet, so I wanted to play with him on PC, because we had been planning on it for so long. And to be honest, I don't think I would have played console even if I had the opportunity to at this point. So we played Winter Royale and did pretty good. We probably made between 2-3k. However, this is where I first saw the potential of console. When Winter Royale was over, I saw how players like Cartoon Paul were able to dominate and make bank after switching from PC to console. I knew it was probably a smart move to find another controller player in case more console events were added. After our squad's heats performance, Aidness had gotten the attention of well-known Pro Assault, who asked Aidness if he'd like to try duoing together. Aidness did, and which would give me the opportunity to try to find a controller duo. Here enter Scar. Scar was part of our Discord friends group where we would often play various different zonewars and box fights against each other. From these I could see he was a good fighter and was also very smart and level-headed in addition. At this time we were both on Legacy and I thought it would also be cool to L2 the shit out of people together. Scar and I ran a Prac Mayhem ladder to see how we'd do together and managed to get first. Needless to say, we stuck around. Next they would announce Duo FNCS. But this time, unlike before, they would give console mobile players their very own FNCS with the same pre-zeppel as PC. Perfect! Scar and I didn't have any respect in the console community at this point. We even got kicked out of the console Prac server by Paul and Lupine because someone said we grift. Sad. Because we had no respect, we couldn't alpha up a drop spot. We landed at a pretty weak heavy sniper split around Misty Lake for the majority of Duo FNCS. We only placed decently in week 2 and 3 of duos, I believe. If we wanted to do better, we knew we needed a better drop spot. We chose the yacht, because it had evolved, but wasn't very popular, because its mythic loot was pretty lackluster. In heats we had a rough start. I didn't make it into game 1, so Scar had to play it as a solo and eventually died to Surge, resulting in us having 0 points after game 1. Luckily we had the yacht uncontested for the rest of heats and managed to slide into a qual. A series of very fortunate events for the boys. We didn't plan landing at the yacht in Grands. Wags, a well-known console veteran, had already claimed the yacht and had been landing there for the entirety of FNCS. As long as he was around we would have to look elsewhere. But then, to our surprise, Wags unfortunately gets 13th, 1 place off of the top 12 that you need to qualify for Grands. The yacht was back on the market. After we realized Wags had quelled, we quickly input our landing spot as yacht and into the drop spot submission. We would find out that there was also another team that had claimed the spot thinking the same thing as us. They messaged telling me, explaining how they were both 120 FPS mobile and that we should leave. I said we aren't leaving, blocked them both, and went to sleep. To our pleasure, they left the next morning. We had uncontested yacht for Grands, and managed to win duo grand finals. I remember after the last game both Scar and I quickly restarted our Fortnites to update the leaderboard to see if we had indeed secured first place. I remember jumping around for joy, as I'm sure Scar did as well, when we realized we had just made 22k from console Fortnite. We joined back up into our Discord friends group with all the boys who were hyping us up and celebrating with us. Getting first place in a big tournament, especially for the first time, is a massively satisfying experience. There are no regrets after getting first. Even when getting second, you can still find regrets, like thinking of how you could have done something better and you would have gotten first. First place is unique. It's highly and uniquely satisfying. After Scar and I won duo FNCS, we got in contact with SHXN, who we made plans with to trio if trio FNCS was announced. Next Fortnite ran solo FNCSs for like half a year and it sucked. I bought an iPad to play on and it crashed every other game and caused me not to qual. However, I got hit up by a player, who I will leave unnamed because he still plays, who asked me if I could play on his account for heats and grands, because he couldn't play those days. I agreed as long we would split the winnings if we made money and only under the conditions of the contract I wrote up. I would then go on to qualify for grands through heats and place somewhere within top 15 in grands. Bittersweet because I wasn't able to get any recognition for this, but I did make someone else some money. Finally, Fortnite announces trio FNCS on console. I massaged SHXN about trioing. He agreed to play but continued to post LFT posts on Twitter because he had done really well in solo FNCS and he had a fat ego. Eventually he realized that the big Spudlite is the boss around here and stuck around. We did very well in trio FNCS weeks, placing top 3 overall in cumulative series points. We then placed 5th in grands for 9k each, which was fine considering our drop spot compared to others who placed higher. Nut, Assault, and Max took first with Uncan Dooms. J's and J's took second with Uncan Lazy. Then I would say Big 60's team was probably the only team who placed better than they should have given their drop spot. They landed Stark, which had many teams trying to contest, but they somehow stayed consistent throughout. Then in 4th place was Cartoon Paul from Craigie. It came down to the last game on who was going to take the 4th place slot. Unfortunately we got Keelan Storm last game and Paul would go on to have a decent endgame. So again we placed 5th for 9k, which isn't bad, but we really wanted to place top 3. After that we planned on keeping the same trio for the next console FNCS, but after we all got our new consoles and started practicing, Epic announced that there will no longer be console FNCS. GGS only. It's at this point that I knew I would have to quit. There is just too much competition for a prize pool that is getting smaller and smaller, and it no longer makes sense for me to continue playing the game if I can no longer consistently win money. Since this FNCS was so close, Scar and I would agree to play. We would pick up our friend T, who we have both teamed with in the past for other smaller events and who was also good at dropping caddy. Unfortunately we did not make heats, which is annoying because I feel like we would have been able to easily make grands if we had Caddy Uncan in our heat. We do very well when Caddy is Uncan or has one team contesting. The problem arises when you land Caddy main side, then another team lands Caddy gas station, then another team sits on top of weather station and shoot down at both of us. Since news of the snowball launcher broke, this problem became worse. Even if we made grants we almost definitely would not be getting Caddy Uncan, so we would have to either 50-50 Caddy or land at some dogshit split. Basically the only way we would have done good in grants is if every other team that lands there doesn't do well in their heat, allowing us to get Caddy Uncan in grants. If we had Caddy Uncan in grants we would also have to hope that the people landing weather aren't too aggressive so we could get the snowball launcher. Then if we could get the snowball launcher we could win a couple games. Boom, top 5 in grands. This series of events to make this possible was very unlikely. However, it was the only thing that would maybe keep me around for another season. So now it's time to throw in the towel. It no longer makes sense for me to continue to spend time playing Fortnite. Thanks for reading. Thanks for the support. Thanks for playing. Special thanks to the teammates. Scar, Aidness, Ftlia Jax, SHXN, Trunks, and shout out to all the homies in the Discord for the daily convos. Smokenate, Bento, The Flea, Lotus, Silix, J, Slay, Festival, Cali, Radio, Wordbro.